So Daniel, in the span of your career, what would you say has been the most dramatic change in the media landscape?
Well, I know we're going to talk about today's buzz, namely the use of online and the effect on media. But honestly, across the last 30 years, I think the most major change occurred as cable became distributed across the nation. At that point, of course, and for the first time in most cases, people had much more choice. 30, 40, 60, eventually 500 channels, so to speak. And this changed people's viewing behavior in a radical way. The easiest way to measure that is looking at the broadcast networks that lost at least 50% of their share. That is a huge change in terms of viewership and, of course, the business associated with that.
Now, I remember when we worked together in 1990, you were one of the first people to talk about digital compression. And I've never forgotten that you were really way ahead of your time in talking about the fragmentation of cable. Where did that concept come from? What were you seeing that led you to strongly believe in digital compression at that time?
Well, I think it's a continuation of the theme, being aware that this was the method of the engineering method that was being adopted to distribute more and more signals. More and more signals simply meant, from a consumer viewpoint, more choice. And I really didn't see any reason that that fragmentation would stop. People love choice. Now, it is true that people view more channels, but not many more channels. However, if you think of a family of 3 or 4 or 5 people, they may have some channels in common, but many different ones. And so I'm sure this could, of course, this could be measured, but a typical household might view as many as 30 different channels, and that, so the trend was going to continue, and it did.
So you're saying that households can view 30 or more channels. That would mean that the individuals in the households are probably still watching the same level of channels, but collectively they're watching different channels?
That's the idea. Certainly people have 4 people in a household, a couple kids, mother and father. There are a few channels the parents probably watch together, but then the guy may watch more sports than his wife, and perhaps his wife watches more how-to shows or dramas that he doesn't want to watch, and the kids are, on a totally different set of channels.
So how do you think the role of DVRs play in channel selection and channel variety?
Well, for those households that have the DVR, clearly it puts more personal control, into their hands. I think most people watching this video most likely have a DVR, and we are completely addicted to it. An important question is, do we watch commercials anymore? And I believe, in fact, I'm a little influenced by my own behavior, but while clearly we skip, we actually still are watching many commercials. Some of that can happen, honestly, because you forget that you're watching a recording. But also, in many cases, the commercials are quite entertaining and informative, and I don't think that aspect has changed. In fact, it's probably